Fatima Milian, Special Investigator 3, and Lance Austin Jimenea, Department Legislative Liaison Specialist. For the Department of the Interior and Local Government, we have Attorney Noel Sala, Attorney Genevieve Floralde, Attorney Maria Rodora Flores, and Ana Karina Tirao. For the Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Animal Industry, we have OIC Assistant Director Anthony Bukad. For the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, we have with us virtually present Cleo Dongaas, Attorney Darren Mansilla, Christina Javier, also virtually present, and for the Philippine National Police, we have the following: Police Colonel Ireneo Dalugdog, Acting Deputy District Director for Administration of the Eastern Police District, Police Colonel Mario Cortez, Police Colonel Edel Pereira, and Police Master Staff Sergeant Attorney Reginald Merville Pinca, and also Patrol Woman Princess Pearl Mejia. For the Mandaluyong City Police Station, we have Police Colonel Reynan Patam, Chief of Police of the Mandaluyong City, and Patrol Woman Maricel Corpus. For the Caloocan City Police Station, we have Police Colonel Joey Goforth and Police Captain Julius Villafuerte. For the water sector, we have, for the Philippine Ports Authority, Janelisa Rebong, Port Manager of Port Management Office, NCR North, Hanika Rachel Arciaong, Department Manager, Josephine Lapierre, Port Operations Service Department, and Attorney Dominic Paulo Marquez. For the Philippine Coast Guard, we have Lieutenant Jonathan Thomas Onesa, Master Chief Petty Officer Ronaldson Alab, Petty Officer 3rd Class Aldrin Punong Bayan. For the Manila North Harbor Port Incorporated, we have the following: Kim Maverick Lacson, Surveillance Officer, Gerald Louis Rodriguez, Office of the General Manager, and Attorney Mark Vincent Escalona. For Asian Terminals Incorporated, we have Dominador Bustamante, Assistant Vice President, and June Hermes Balita, Government Liaison and Customer Service Manager. For Competitive Card Solutions Philippines Incorporated, we have Eric Mendoza, Team Leader, virtually present. For the air transport sector, we have the following: for the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, we have Roberto Martin Buenaventura, Assistant Director General, Valentino Dionela, Assistant Director General, Benzar Brian Balagtas, Attorney John Bo Masiglat, Joy Gabriel Bedana, Chenalyn De Los Santos, Adrian Enriquez, and Angelique Carsola. For the Civil Aeronautics Board, we have Attorney Jean Marion Bermudez and Attorney Cecil Bautista. For the new NAIA Infra Corporation, we have Mar Alvin Acquiza, NNIC Security Manager for Operations, and Archibald Macababad, Civil Engineer. For Air Carriers Association of the Philippines, or ACAP, we have Executive Director Jose Enrique Perez de Tagle and Carlo Aklan, Chairperson of the Safety Committee, and Materno Ilagan, VP for Safety, Quality, and Security. For the PNP Aviation Security Group, we have Police Colonel Joel De Mesa and Police Colonel Christopher Melchor. For the Philippine Airlines, we have Salvador Britannico Jr., Vice President for Corporate Affairs, Attorney Larcy Gray Zurilla, Assistant Vice President, Captain Daniel Oliver Castro, Assistant Vice President. For Cebu Pacific, we have Maria Cecilia Natividad, Vice President, Roque Aldrich Alvera. For Air Asia Philippines, we have Attorney Inigo Pieras, Rafael Luis Santos, Rachel Apoldo. For San Miguel Aerocity Incorporated, we have Attorney Melissa Encanto Tagarda and Diane Marie Ramos. For the Luzon International Premier Airport Development Corporation, we have Dante Basanta, Head of Operations, Attorney Miguel Adonis Balingit, and Attorney Sofia Mercado. For the land transport sector, we have Land Transportation Office, Attorney Lance Brian Tan, Attorney Mary Jobet Palasige, and Kathleen Diana Salayog. For the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, we have Attorney Greg Pua Jr., Board Member. For the PNP Highway Patrol Group, we have Police Colonel Glenn Mayam and Police Major Julius Vincent Libang. For the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, we have ASEC David Angelo Vargas. For Grab Philippines, we have Public Affairs Manager Ira Cruz. For our non-governmental organizations, we have for Move as One Coalition, Isabel Eugene Agregado, George Buwig. For To Go Group Incorporated, we have Melinda Salamida Habson. For Alt Mobility PH, we have Luisito Gepuela, Director and Secretary. We also have the following: Rolly Vicente, complainant, together with Christine Grace Montalvo, Sheila May Tardio Mendez. And also we have for the MMDA, we have Yusek Nicolas Torre III, General Manager. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Committee Chair. Good morning to our distinguished colleagues and guests. In aviation, we spend billions making aircraft smarter, engines stronger, and pilots better trained. Pero minsan, ang biggest threat ay hindi engine failure. It is a flock of birds. I'll show you a video.
179 people died while only 2 survived. Both are crew members. Officials are looking at a bird strike as one of the possible reasons for the crash. A seasoned pilot and flying instructor believes the bird strike may have caused the plane's engine to shut down.
Pa-take off na sana ang PAL Flight TR-2814 nang ipagpaliban ito. Ang sanhi, pinasok ng ibon ang isa sa mga makina ng eroplano pasado 1:00 ng hapon. Balik terminal ng Davao International Airport tuloy ang eroplano na may 183 pasahero.
Nabangga niya yung ibon sa runway.
Lumipad mula sa NAIA ang kanilang Flight 5J381 kaninang alas 3:44 ng madaling araw patungong Cagayan de Oro. Pero isang ibon umano ang tumama sa eroplano sa take-off, kaya't agad itong bumalik sa paliparan.
Noong December 29, 2024, isang bird strike ang nagdulot ng deadliest aviation accident of its kind. Jeju Air Flight 2016 crash during landing after hitting a flock of birds, killing 179 people. The numbers are already warning us. The Philippines recorded 953 bird strikes in 2025 and 250 more in just the first half of 2026. This is not about expecting the worst. It is about preparing for what we already know is possible. Bago magsimula migration season ngayong September hanggang February, we need to be very ready. Some of the reasons are literally right beside our airport. De Las Piñas, Parañaque Wetland Park. Home to around 5,000 birds daily. Ito po is just 2 to 3 kilometers from NAIA Runway 6, our busiest airport. Kaya hindi na rin nakagulat na NAIA recorded 51 bird strike incidents this year alone. And this is unique to Metro Manila. Clark is near the Candaba Swamp, while Mactan, Cebu is close to the Ulango Island Wildlife Sanctuary. These airports all lie along the East Asian Australasian Flyway, or Australasian Flyway, one of the world's busiest migratory bird corridors. This is nature, but to save lives, we must be willing to rethink all the approaches. Then there's pigeon raising. Wala naman tayong problema sa sport. Ang concern natin ay kung saan ito ginagawa. Kapag may pigeon release malapit sa airport like NAIA, habang may mga eroplanong lumalapag, obvious naman na safety hazard ito. What's surprising is that pigeon racing events are not even required to coordinate with CAAP or traffic control before securing an animal event clearance. Panoorin po natin yung video. While we're discussing aviation safety, let's also discuss aviation strategy. Out of 87 national airports, 45 have no airline or commercial operations. Yet many continue to substantial government funding. Mati Airport received 100 million in 2024 and 700 million in 2026. Catbalogan Airport received 250 million pesos and another 200 million. Kaya ang tanong, bago itinayo o nirehabilitate ang mga airport na ito, nagkaroon ba ng sapat na demand at land use assessment? May airline ba na willing mag-operate? We should definitely invest in our airports, but airports exist to connect people, to bring families together, support tourism, create jobs, and drive local economies. There are government-run airports, kaya dapat ang priority ay ang the greater public. Tatalakayin po din natin ang ilang mga issue na inilapit sa atin at nakatawag ng ating pansin. May mga complaints na ipinarating sa akin ang mga mananakay ng mga roro at barko. May nawala ng belt bag na may lamang di umano 140,000 pesos cash, 2 cellphones, at kwintas na nagkakalaga ng 79,000 pesos. At ang pagtaas ng terminal fee sa Manila North Harbor at Batangas Port nang walang malinaw na paliwanag kung bakit sila nagtataas ng terminal fee. Bukod dito ay isang Grab driver na binaril din ng kanyang pasahero habang bumibiyahe noong madaling araw ng June 7 sa Caloocan City. Nakarating din sa aking kalaman ng isang viral robbery prank na nangyari sa isang green GSM e-taxi. Sa lumabas na viral video, narinig ang driver ng e-taxi na nagsabi ng, "Ma'am, wag na po kayo pumalag." Okay, ma'am, ha? Andyan din yung insidente kung saan may dalang baril ang galit na si retired Rear Admiral Punzalan habang pinapaalis ang isang motorista na nakapark malapit umano sa kanyang bahay. At kahapon lang, may isang motorcycle rider na sumubok dumaan sa isang rally pero kinuha ang susi ng motor at pinagbanta ang pampapatayin at merong isang pulis doon na sa halip awatin yung mga nagbabanta dito sa rider, ang pinagalitan ay ang rider pa. Hindi ba naman kengko itong pulis na ito? But anyway, before we go to the questions and answer portion, umpisahan po natin na lang dahil upon the request of the resource person from SMC Holdings dahil meron siyang pupuntahan pang meeting which I do understand, maging yung Toll Regulatory Board. Pag-usapan muna natin yung pong Skyway Toll Plaza na hanggang ngayon na under the management of SMC Corporation o SMC Holdings na pinangako sa atin a couple of years ago na wala ng boom, yung RFID readings ay mabilisan na at wala ng abala, so forth and so on. But a few days ago and then kanina na lamang nakita ko kung paano na nagkakaroon ng traffic dahil yung pagre-read sa RFID ay hindi nakakaya ng kanilang sistema. Kaya nagkakaroon ng traffic at nagkakaroon ng delay. And I was informed by SMC back then na magkakaroon silang bagong technology which is hindi na kailangan ng boom at tuloy-tuloy na lang yung pagdaloy ng mga sasakyan na dumadaan sa kanilang toll plaza. So nandito ba yung SMC Holdings?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm Attorney Melissa Encanto Tagarda of San Miguel Holdings Corp. Regarding po yung concern sa Skyway on the reading of the RFIDs, we currently, kasi po nasuspend yung Joint Memorandum Circular wherein we implemented na those without load dun sa kanilang RFID will be given penalties. So ang primary issue po as to why there's traffic on the toll plazas is that sometimes the ones who want to go through the toll plazas do not have load. And because of that, automatic po that the barriers will not go up. So that's the primary concern and reason as to why there are delays on the toll plazas. For now, yung sa toll RFIDs po ng San Miguel, SLEX and Skyway, usually the read po of the RFIDs is about 96% to 99%. However, because of that drawback as to the amount of load that is in the RFID accounts of the commuters, that causes delay. And because we are not able to implement the cashless program for now, we have to make do as of the moment. And because of the system not going up because of the no load policy, we are not able to ensure the seamless traffic po. However, we try to make remedies on the ground. For example, for those cars without load on the spot, they're able to remedy the situation by putting load on the spot, and this is right away recorded in their accounts.
Okay. Attorney, ako mismo naka-experience kanina, no? And days before, ilang beses, kumpleto ko sa load, libo-libo po yung nasa load ko. And yet, hindi nababasa. Yun yung point. Hindi nare-read. Kaya, I have to stop for a few minutes para yung tao mo nga, yung tao doon sa toll plaza, bumaba pa, tinignan yung plate number ko sa harap, and then maraming mga tinanong sa driver, tinignan yung card. Akala ko ba, bagong technology ang bibili ninyo, i-adapt ninyo, yung may canopy, katulad sa Amerika, nadadaan yung sakyan, wala nang kailangan pang mga boom. Tuloy-tuloy na lang. So, para smooth ang flow ng traffic.
Yes, usually kapag nangyayari po yan, the primary reason is that the sticker is already defective. So usually the timeline of a sticker will be about 2 years, and then that will have to be changed for free by the operator.
Ma'am, sorry ma'am. You are listening but you're not hearing me. Ang sinasabi ko po na yung pong technology na prinamis ninyo back in 2019 na wala na yung boom, na tuloy-tuloy na lang po yung pagdaan, may canopy dyan, pagdaan ng mga sasakyan. Nang sa gayon, hindi na po mag-create ng traffic. Smooth na po yung flow ng mga vehicles.
Yes, actually,
Yung po yung sinisingil po.
Mr. Chair, meron po tayo niyan. That's what we call the ALPTR, the Automatic License Plate Recognition System.
Right.
We have it already. However, we will have to coordinate that with the TRB.
Okay.
For now, hindi pa po siya approved
Aha.
for use, no? But we are transitioning to that. We already have that. We already have
What
that
is it not being
technology.
approved for use? Who is telling you na it is not approved yet, so don't use it yet? Is this the Toll Regulatory Board?
We will need to have a circular to the effect that it will be implemented already. I think it has to be uniform across all tollways. I'm not quite sure as to the other tollways whether they also have the same technology already.
Okay.
But
There
for
are-
us, we already
I
have
think
that.
there are other tollways who are adopting that kind of technology, the one that I'm talking about. Na wala ng boom at diretso-diretso na lang yung mga sasakyan. At kasi meron yung parang instrument or gadget na nakalagay, naka-install sa sasakyan. Usually sa rear view mirror, nakakabit yun. And then, dadaan siya sa canopy. Doon canopy yung may reader doon. Malayo pala, maririnig niya agad yung nakakabit sa may rear view mirror na isang gadget. Then, it will signal for that instrument na siya ay babawasan na doon sa binayad niya for that toll fee. So, tuloy-tuloy na siya. And hindi na kailangan talaga ng boom.
Yes, we are in favor of this.
Okay.
We are just waiting for regulation from our regulatory
Okay.
office to implement the same. But we are ready with this. The ALPR has been in existence
Okay.
for a while already.
Alright. So pupunta ko ngayon yung Toll Regulatory Board, TRB. Nandito ba yung TRB?
We have with us Jos Carlos Ordiliano, virtually present, sir.
Okay. Joss, good morning to you.
Good morning po, Mr. Chair. Morning po.
So kailan niyo bibigyan ng go signal para i-adapt na yung ganung technology na sinasabi ko? At nag-agree naman si Attorney Jean na they're just waiting for go signal from you. And when is that gonna happen, sir?
Apo. Thank you po, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, regarding po sa timeline, actually, to give an update, ongoing po yung pakikipag-usap ng TRB and LTO sa mga toll operators. Kasi po, correct po yung nabanggit kanina sa explanation po ni Attorney Tagarda that the system is already there. We need to come up lang po sa mga policies to support po yung technology. Say for example po, paano po natin makokollect po yung mga tolls do sa mga kotse na walang RFID. So, yun sir, we coordinate with with different stakeholders po para po masuportahan po itong programa na to, sir. Siguro sir, within the year or early next year po, baka we can come up sa policy guidelines po nung ahensya.
Okay.
In coordination po sa LTO po.
Kasi sir, sa Valenzuela Toll Plaza, barrierless na. Alam niyo po yun, ano?
Apo sir, yes po.
So, kung nagawa yun sa Valenzuela Toll Plaza, bakit hindi magawa yun sa ibang mga toll plaza?
Opo. Actually sir, tama po kayo sir, naka-barrierless na po sa Valenzuela. Ang naging concern po natin sir sa actual implementation, marami pong dumadaan ng mga kotse na walang RFID na hindi po sila nagbabayad, tumatakas na lang po sila. So pag dumaan po kayo ng Valenzuela, wala na po kasing exit plaza sa Balintawak at sa Mindanao. Bali hindi na po yun mahahabol for collection po. Ang nangyayari sir, yung toll leakage po, nagbabalon po yun, hindi na po yun nakokolekta po nung nag-ooperate po na toll road po. Naiikot po.
Then, sir, may nakikita akong solusyon dyan. Di ba may mga camera naman kayo, di ka-capture sa camera yung mga hindi nagbayad and then hindi rin siya makapag-register.
Tama po kayo po Mr. Chair, yun po yung amin po winawork with LTO.
And then sir, ito muna, let me finish. Hindi siya makapag-register or makipag-connect kayo sa MMDA, makipag-connect kayo sa LTO na para yung sasakyan na yun, pag nakita sa kalye, kung kinakailan mas harsh pa, titikitan siya, hulihin siya.
Yes
Diba?
po sir. Opo sir, tama po kayo sir. Same po with other
So-
countries po. Ganun po yung ginagawa po nila sir. Tama po.
Exactly. So we have to implement that kind of policy nang sa gayon, wala nang magtangkang tumakas para makalusot ni makabayad ng toll fee.
Opo.
So coordinate with MMDA, with LTO, with HPG, na yung mga tumakas, ibigay, maalarma yung sasakyan nila. Pag nakita sila sa kalye, paparahin sila, titikitan sila, etc.
Opo sir, we will do po. Opo.
Okay. So kailan po yung timeline? Kailan po natin may patutupad, may maging barrierless na ang lahat ng toll plaza natin?
Siguro sir, ano po, ano lang po namin, try po namin, siguro within the year po siguro sir, makakapagkamata po kami. Try po namin, siguro within the year po siguro sir, makakapagkamata po kami sa,
Hindi.
Opo.
Okay. Sige, Attorney Tagarda, tama ba yung sinabi ni, anong pangalan niya ulit, sir?
Joe Sardin.
Si Joe.
Yes,
Sure.
Mr. Chair. For San Miguel po, lahat ng entries natin barrierless already and these have complete PCS already. And they all have 100% ALPR. But we
Okay.
will really need support from the regulator as well. And maybe from the LTO also, Mr. Chair, because
Okay.
not all plates are actually updated.
That is
And we
correct.
will need that.
And then I do agree with you. Kasi may mga problema din sa LTO na na-raise ko na to many times na yung plate number ay fake and then there are times na gumagamit sila ng mga plate number na karton lang or nakalagay for registration and then there are times na yung sasakyan ay nabenta na pala pero hindi pa rin nilalagay sa LTO kung sino yung new owner. So those kind of things should also be considered. Kaya mag-usap-usap na lang kayo ng LTO
Yes, Mr. Chair.
and then MMDA and Highway Patrol Group, etc. para ma-implement na natin to para sa kapakanan natin. Ako okay lang. I have all the time in the world to wait. Ako ay isang pasensyosong tao. I was there kanina. I waited for a few minutes and bumaba pa nga yung nasa toll booth. Kinuha yung plate number ko, interview yung driver. It took a few minutes. And pero sa mga ibang toll plaza, nare-read naman yung RFID ko. Diyan lang sa Quezon Avenue mukhang may problema na yung reader ninyo. So I think talk to your people.
Yes, we will check with the readers at Quezon Avenue.
Okay. That's all. Sige, thank you very much. And now you're dismissed kasi alam ko may pupuntang ka pa.
Mr. Chair, I can stay for a bit in case you have questions on the airport also.
Airport, yes. Mamaya. For the meantime, sa airport. Susunod tayo ngayon dito sa birds strike. Saan yung ano rito? Siguro yung mga, umpisa natin sa mga airlines. Is Philippine Airlines, may representative from Philippine Airlines and Cebu Pac. Maybe they can tell us something about their experience. Or ACAP. Okay, ACAP is here. And ACAP is being represented by Mr. Jose Enrique Perez de Tagle. Sir?
Opo, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much for this opportunity. For ACAPO, we represent the 5 largest Philippine carriers. That's Cebu Pacific, Philippine Airlines, AirAsia, PAL Express, and SebGo. And so we cover most of the domestic airports and, of course, most of the international hubs. So what we always have said to ourselves and to the industry is that the success and viability of our industry will all depend on safety. And that's definitely a cornerstone of aviation. And we see safety as a matter of investment and also collaboration by all stakeholders. So these incidents of bird strike are actually a good example of how we, the industry, can collaborate. And we have taken preemptive steps. Our airline members and our ACAP Safety Committee have taken preemptive steps to collaborate with the CAAP, with CAAP, with the regulators, the airport authorities, and also with the local government units. Kasi po, it's not just a matter of airport level, but as you pointed out earlier, it's a matter of community regulation and enforcement to ensure that there are no bird habitats or practices around the airports. In fact, the ICAO, the National Civil Aviation Organization, sets more or less a 13-kilometer radius around airport runways that would prohibit any kind of bird habitats or any kind of activities that promote this, because we really believe that this is a safety concern and it needs to be managed through responsible wildlife hazard management. And we are glad that we have the full cooperation of the CAAP, and of course, in many communities, we are also working with the local authorities, the LGUs, to achieve this po. And that's an ongoing development.
Mr. Tagle and everybody, ayokong dumating yung point na magkakaroon tayo ng hearing later on and sasabihin ko, I told you so, at meron na nangyaring trahedya. Kaya we're here, we're talking about this problem. I want to be proactive, not reactive. Now, ang tanong ko sa inyo, Mr. Tagle, ano ba yung mga experience ng mga member airlines ninyo sa mga piloto sa bird strike? At gaano po kadelikado itong bird strike? And when it happens, ano usually ang ginagawa ng piloto? So run us through para sa kaalaman ng lahat. Educate us dito sa tinatawag na bird strike.
Opo, Senator. Thank you for that. This is, of course, a very serious concern. Kaya our pilots are trained through very strict protocols to manage the situation every time there's a bird strike incident. If it involves shutting down an engine, if it involves returning to the airport, there are strict protocols by which our pilots manage the situation and ensure the proper safety every time this occurs. So you mentioned around 900 incidents a year, and then we agree with that. That's correct. That's most of the incidents we've experienced among our member airlines, and most of the time these involve the aircraft inspection repair afterwards, because that means there may be damaged engine blades, damaged landing gear, and so on. Sometimes the damage is very minimal. Sometimes it will involve many hours of grounding of an aircraft, sometimes up to several days or even 8 days is, I think, the longest we've had in the year 2025. So, and that, of course, is a major cost. But as you pointed out earlier, Senator, tama pa kayo na the most critical issue here is safety and passenger convenience, because it does lead to delays and cancellations, it does lead to diverted flights, and it does lead to
Okay. So out of these 950 bird strikes, ito sa iba't ibang aeroplano siguro, Philippine Airlines, AirAsia, and Cebu Pac. Buti na lang hindi catastrophic,
yes.
Unlike dun sa mga nakita sa video sa mga ibang bansa, na it brought the airplane down, and resulted to many casualties. Now, dito sa atin, maswerte tayo, yung mga bird strike ay hindi ganun kalala. Kaya wala pang, God forbids, na nahulog na aeroplano, bumagsak dahil sa bird strike. Saan pong parte sa ating mga airports na kung saan madalas nagkaka-encounter ng bird strike ang mga eroplano natin? Which part of the airport or which part of the country?
Well,
or let's say yung flight path.
Opo. For that, I'll have to defer to our individual airlines, but we do understand that there have been incidents in Zamboanga, more than usual. There have been some in Puerto Princesa, but actually they can occur in almost any airport all throughout the
How about
country, including NAIA and our main hubs.
Okay. Meron ba tayong mga rito? Piloto? Do we have pilots from any
We have
airline?
the head of our safety committee, si Captain Carlo po of Cebu Pacific.
Okay. Can we ask Captain Carlo to
Captain Carlo
come
Aklan,
forward?
with your permission.
Yeah.
Captain Carlo
Come
Aklan,
forward?
with your permission.
Yeah.
Good morning po, Mr. Chair. Morning
Captain
po.
Carlo, okay. Piloto din po kayo.
Yes po.
Kayo po ba naka-encounter ng bird strike at sa aeroplanong minamaneho nyo?
Personally po, I have experience.
Okay. How was it nung naramdaman mo ba yung bird strike, or pag landing mo na lang nakita na lang ng mga technician na meron palang ibon sa loob ng engine?
If the bird strike happened po in front of the aircraft, it would be evident po kasi may sound and mafe-feel po talaga namin yung result ng bird strike.
Okay. Ilang beses na po kayo naka-experience na naka-inkwento ka ng bird strike sa inyo o ano?
In the 26 years of being in the industry, I would say mga 10 to 15 times po, no? As di na po ako lumilipad regularly, but I have experienced and seen the detrimental effect of bird strike when it does happen and when it makes contact with the aircraft.
I know, sir, kasi yan, that causes delay. Of course, gastos din sa aeroplano. Malaking pera ang kailangan gagastusin para sa maintenance, para linisin yung engine, stuff like that. Pero, yeah, concern ako dyan. Pero I'm more concerned dun sa safety ng mga pasahero. So, how dangerous is it kapag ang isang aeroplano naka-encounter ng bird strike?
In the example po that was used earlier, no, with the releasing of racing pigeons just in the vicinity of Mall of Asia, unfortunately, if that number of birds or domesticated pigeons, and in that particular example po is around 10,000 domesticated pigeons, no. In the example po of the Jeju that was also presented earlier, involving a Baikal teal, no, which is a species po ng Philippine duck, very similar in the group of that species po, no. So these are larger in mass or volume, no. When it makes contact with the aircraft, critical aircraft components such as engines, windshields, movable structures such as the landing gear structure, it would cause significant damage po sa aircraft and thus affecting the safety of flight, no. Our main concern po really is the cost is secondary na lang po, no. It's really the safety of the riding public that we are merely requesting an appeal po na ma-address as a collaborative efforts within the aviation community and of course the other stakeholders po.
Okay, sa NAIA, I don't know kung yung is it NAIA Terminal 2 or 3? Yung runway 6? Anong terminal ba yun? Na kung saan 2 or 3 kilometers away from that, meron wetlands doon. Yung ba ay nagpo-pose ng threat o danger?
No, there had been collaborations that ACAP has been doing po.
Yung sa I'm talking about the Las Piñas wetlands.
La Papachaya with in collaboration with the DENR po. We've had series actually as far back as 2018 po, no, that we had been collaborating with them, and they had been religiously attending our collaborative discussions as well as a stakeholder, no. The sanctuary that you mentioned po, Mr. Chair, is known to be a source of it's in essence a launch pad po, no, for wildlife that would infringe in the final approach course of runway 06, which is relatively close po, less than 2 nautical miles po if you're on final approach for runway 06. So naka-infringe po siya dun sa we say the high risk zone or danger zone within the approach.
So para sa inyo, itong wetland sa Las Piñas, itong bird sanctuary, nasa flight risk as far as you're concerned at maging yung kaap.
Yes po.
So ano po yung recommendation ninyo dito?
The recommendation po that we had been discussing with the ENR and the Air Carriers Association of the Philippines, of course, aware din po si CAP with their support, is the enhanced management po, no. And as you mentioned po, importante din naman po sa atin ang sustainability, no, and ma-protect the natural resources, no. But what we are appealing po sana is the relocation po sana, no, and the management of that particular area.
Thank you. Kaya nga nandito tayo, tulad sinabi ko kanina, for the second time, ayaw ko yung dumating yung panahon na pag nag-hearing tayo, sabihin ko, I told you so. So bago mangyari yung isang sitwasyon na malagim, God forbids, ngayon pa lang gawa natin ng remedyo. Okay? Just like if I would go back quickly, medyo malista ko ng konti, like what I told DepEd last year, sabi ko, Dapat maglagay ng mga security guard, maglagay ng mga metal detector sa mga eskwelahan para hindi makapuslit ng mga baril ang mga estudyante. Sabi ng DepEd, yes, yes, yes. At puro yes lang. And then ito na nga nangyari yung barilan sa Tacloban as we all know. But anyway, going back to our topic. DNR, is DNR here?
Mr. Chair, yes po. Present.
Okay. Ano po yung tingin niyo yung suggestion po ni Captain Aclanet maging nung ACAP na kung maaari kasi nasa flight risk pala, flight path risk yung tinatawag na wetland dyan sa Las Piñas Bird Sanctuary. Meron ba mapaglipatan yon?
Mr. Chair, thank you for that issues raised po, no. With this matter po, this will be the recommendation from CAAP will be noted po at this time. I think the Biodiversity Management Bureau is the appropriate office po. And
What bureau, sir?
BMB, Biodiversity Management Bureau. I think on the Wildlife Division is the appropriate office po. And will relay na lang din po yung recommendation on the relocation of the bird sanctuary on De Las Piñas.
So, it's been a while since they have recommended na matransfer na yan, pero hanggang ngayon hindi pa nyo ina-actionan. Why is that? Are we waiting an accident to happen before we act on it? Kailan ba tayo mag-antay pa na merong mahulog na eroplano? Tapos magsisisiyan tayo rito? O gawin na natin ngayon pa lang. Let's do something about it. It's been a year. In fact, na-bring up ko na yan, 19 Congress. Back in 2023, I think. Hanggang ngayon, wala pa rin kayong ginagawa. Ibang panong kasi yung 2023, naintindihan ko kayo kasi, of course, may mga nag-oppose. Pero sa ngayon siguro wala mag-oppose.
Mr.
Me
Chair,
being the chairman of the environment, I assure you, walang pwede oppose. Pag sinabi ko tanggalin yan dahil unahin natin yung safety ng tao, of course, gusto ko, protektahan din natin wildlife. Pero between wildlife and human beings first and then wildlife.
Mr. Chair, we will relay again this on to appropriate office po.
Anong pangalan ulit ng office?
Biodiversity Management
Biodiversity Management
Bureau.
Did we invite them, Mr. Alegre? Comsec?
Actually, sir, we specifically mentioned the issue to be discussed about bird strikes to DNR. So we asked them to provide a resource person knowledgeable on the subject matter.
So-
Unfortunately,
Oh,
they did not send the
so why did you not do that?
person.
Sosyo ka ba doon sa wetland? Baka sosyo ka doon.
Mr. Chair, I would like to clarify.
Informed by Mr. Alegre na magpadala kayo ng resource person tungkol sa bird strike at yun ang pag-uusapan natin.
DNR is already in talks with us to send someone virtually, to have someone virtually
So
to
do we
join
have that person?
biodiversity. We will update you po pag nasa loob na siya ng Zoom room.
Okay. Pero under ba sa inyo yun? Kailang ibang department?
To clarify po, I came from Environmental Management Bureau under the DNR regarding on the mandates on emissions. And I think the bird strike issues is under BMB jurisdiction. So,
Ikaw ay under sa EMB,
yes po, sir.
Environment Management.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, pero bakit ikaw pinadala dito? Samantalang you were properly informed by our committee secretary that the topic will be more on bird strike.
I think, Mr. Chair, there might be about the right to breathe clean air. So under the mandates of EMB,
The right to breathe air? Anong
On-
relasyon niya sa bird strike? Yung
I think on
the right to breathe
Sir,
air.
Mr. Chair, on the topics to discuss about the Magna Carta on commuters, I think, sir. But on the bird strike, we're not.
Kaya ito na lang, what's your name? Engineer Domingo? Okay, anyway, sabi ni Comsec, meron daw from the biodiversity. Gusto ko po, before the end of this year, magawa na natin paraan, itong mga problema tungkol sa bird strike, masolusyonan. Especially itong sa wetlands, dyan sa Las Piñas. Itong sinabi na nga ng piloto, sinabi na nga ng AKAP. Diba itong bird sanctuary? Pwede naman malipat yan eh. Diba? Maghanap tayo ng isang area na mapaglipatan malayo sa flight path ng mga eroplano. Okay? Is that something doable for you?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I think this will be further discussed with their principals and appropriate bureau. And I think we support, of course, the actions to be taken and the recommendation being set by CAC, sir.
Okay. Now, second, yung pagpapalipad ng mga pigeons, pigeon racing, that would be the Bureau of Animal, right? Dito ba Bureau of Animal Industry?
Mr. Chair, good morning po.
Mr. Bukad, now, very dangerous yung ginagawa ng mga pigeon racer. Conduct ng pigeon racing. At malapit sa Senate, malapit dito, binibitaw yung mga ibon. Malapit ang airport sa atin dito. Ba't yung pinapayagan niya? Ba't yung binibigyan ng permit? Kaya ba nagbibigyan ng permit para makapagsagawa ng pigeon racing, itong mga asosasyon ng mga pigeons?
Mr. Chair, ang Bureau of Animal Industry po has clout only on registration of the pigeon clubs so that we can monitor yung kanilang animal health, particularly for avian influenza or bird flu. Yun pong kung paano po sila magpakarera, kung saan sila nagre-release, kahit yan ay training or mismong official pigeon race ng asosasyon ay hindi po saklaw ng Bureau of Animal Industry.
At sino po may saklaw niyan, Mr. Bukad, sir?
Sir, hindi ko po kayo masagot ng diretso. I don't know if it's within the clout of the local government units kasi ang ginagawa lang po ng mga pigeon club sa amin ay kung paparehistro at pagka pumasa naman po, may issue sila ng shipping permit going from one place to another. Halimbawa kung pupunta sila ng...
Hindi ba saklaw yan ng kaap?
Hindi po eh.
Okay. So, nakita ko na, siguro it needs legislation. Right? Now, legislation means longer time. It might take a year or two. But before that, siguro po natin pakiusapan ang local government through the DILG. Nandito ba ang DILG? Okay, DILG, Attorney Sala. Maybe kausapin yung mga different LGUs na kung saan may mga airport, dumadaan yung mga aeroplano natin, na mag-pass ng resolution, mas mabilis yun eh, na ipagbabawal yung mga pigeon racing, ipagbabawal yung paggamit ng mga drones o kites, stuff like that.
Good morning po, Mr. Chair, Attorney Noel Sala from the IALG. LGUs po can pass ordinances and CAAP can lobby with local government units to enact ordinances for aerodrome safety or because in Iloilo province, they have a comprehensive ordinance on aerodrome safety wherein the CAAP Region 6 closely coordinated with the local government unit, the provincial government of Iloilo, to pass an ordinance. So other LGUs can do so, especially those LGUs where airports are located. And it is suggested that the ordinance be passed by the provincial government because our airports are mostly located in the province. So if it's located in a municipality, the regulations will not only affect that certain municipality because based on my knowledge, the rules on CAAP, the rules and regulations of CAAP, there's a certain kilometer radius where they regulate certain activities. For example, yung flying of kite, there's a certain kilometer radius, the flying of drones, and even the height of the buildings. So,
So in other words, CAAP yan.
Yes po, but-
Okay, so then, sorry sir. Okay, steady ka lang dyan. Akong bahala sa'yo. Where's CAAP? CAAP.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, noong April 2025, nag-issue ka ng memorandum order na pinagbabawal yung activities, hazardous activities near the airport. So I would assume kasama dito yung pigeon racing.
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
So why is it still being allowed?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
What happened?
Yeah, CAAP issued MC 026-2025 po. That includes for the prohibition of hazardous activities within airport vicinities. This includes for kites, drones, and also for
Exactly.
pigeon racing.
So ba't walang sumusunod? So,
With this po, we've coordinated with the DILG secretary, and since then, I understand the DILG was to issue to the LGUs guidelines on this
teka
po.
muna, the memorandum you issue was for the DILG or for the LGUs?
It's
Or for
a
everybody across the
CAP MC, Mr. Chair.
What is it?
It's a memorandum circular, CAP memorandum circular, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, the enforcement of these particular prohibitions and the activities that is not lodged with the CAP. That's why po kailangan po talaga ng coordination with the LGU. Kaya po dinala po namin yung MC with the
Okay,
secretary.
so yung enforcement ng memorandum order ninyo issued back in April 2025, ang mag-enforce niyan dapat ay LGU.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
At sinabi niyo na sa LGU yan.
Yes po.
Okay, LGU. So, Attorney Sala, na-inform pala kayo. Kasi kung hindi nyo kaya, di ipapasa ko na lang sa MMDA. Attorney Sala.
For now, po, Mr. Chair, I don't have yet the knowledge on the EMC, but we will coordinate with the proper bureau to coordinate with local government units as to the implementation of the MC mentioned by the CAAP. And the DILG can encourage local government units to enact ordinances, especially this ordinance that really have effect on the general welfare of the people. And
Okay, so sorry sir, thanks for your explanation. So kaap, kanino po pinoward, kanino kayo nakipag-coordinate tungkol dun sa memorandum order na in-issue nyo?
Mr. Chair,
Pinalabas niyo.
we sent a letter po, our Director General sent a letter po to the Secretary of DILG. And we've also had an initial meeting po wherein it was agreed upon that it will be disseminated and relayed to the LGUs. In fact, Mr. Chair, actually meron na pong naging coordination with several LGUs and meron na pong mga ibang LGUs na nag-a-adapt na po ng kanilang mga local laws, including I think Bicol and Davao. Meron na po silang mga na-adapt. But it has been being cascaded po per LGU po, Mr. Chair.
Okay, how about sa Maynila, Attorney Sala, or ano ba tong dito sa Pasay? Kasi dito nagbibitaw ng ng mga racing pigeons nakita nyo naman sa video, by the thousands yan. Paano kung sabay-sabay yung thousands na pigeons na yan dumaan sa flight path ng isang eroplano? Disgrasya. So, bakit hindi na muna pagbawalan ng Pasay LGU yung pigeon racing or any part of the of Metro Manila? Magpunta sila sa bundok. I don't care kung punta sila sa bundok na walang airport, malayo sa Kabihasnan. Doon sila siguro mag-umpisa ng magbitaw ng kanilang mga pigeon racing.
I believe po, Mr. Chair, the local government units can really regulate those activities po.
Okay. So, go ahead po, Kaap.
Just for further information, Mr. Chair, Pasay and Parañaque are amongst those LGUs that have also adopted ordinances, Mr. Chair, pursuant to our MC. So I believe they already have some measurements in place with regards to this. But I'm not just not sure if it pertains particularly to pigeon racing, Mr. Chair.
So, yung pigeon racing ba patuloy pa rin na nagaganap? Kasi I know that pigeon racers, before mag-conduct sila ng ganung activity, they get a permit from the local government, I would assume. So, kung meron na pala memorandum order from the CAAP na disseminate ng information na yon sa DILG, then DILG should have informed the local government units to strictly enforce yung nakasado sa memorandum order.
Mr. Chair, we will coordinate with the proper office and we will make sure that this memorandum order will reach the local government units.
Can you send me a report as to how you handled it and how you've been handling so far as to when ma-implement yung sinabi nga yung memorandum order, implement yan ng mga LGU nang sa gayon wala na mga pigeon racing, wala na mga kite flying, wala na tayong makikita mga drone pinapalipad malapit sa mga airport. At least may ilang kilometer distance away. Di ba? That's Memorandum Circular number 38 series of 2022. Matagal na pala ito. Back in 2022 pa. Tama?
As to that, Mr. Chair, the DILG can encourage local government units to pass or enact local ordinances pertaining to that po. But we cannot require local government units to do it unless there's a law requiring them to pass a law or an ordinance. Then we will make sure that it should be implemented. Thank you po.
Memorandum Circular number 38 series of 2022 raising events. Ang issuance of animal event clearance under Section 4, all pigeon races shall be considered an animal event. So dapat ito yung bai. Ano ito ba yung bai?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oh,
Gaya po ng nabanggit ko po kanina, yun nga po, yung mga pigeon clubs, sila po ay nagpaparehistro sa BAI as a requirement po para makapag-transport ng mga kalapate. Pero we are doing that more on the part of the disease monitoring as we are...
no, teka muna, when it comes to animal event, so
Yes po.
pag-event, kasama na dyan yung racing.
Yes po sir, tapos kumukuha po sila ng permit sa amin for the race if ever. Ang problema po,
Kaya nga, so
Not
kumukuha sila
all-
ng permit for the race. Eh kanina tinatanggi mo, pinapasa mo ako nagugas
hindi
kamay ka.
sir, ang ano ko po ay meron po kasi din ng DI ang mga LGUs.
No, wait a minute.
Now,
Sir,
Sige
listen.
po.
Mamaya na yung LGUs. Yung ikaw muna, kayo muna dyan sa BAI kasi under Section 4, buti na lang na nakuha ko tong information na to. Eh, pagdating sa mga animal event, kasama na dyan yung pigeon racing. Okay? By the thousands ang binibitiwan malapit dito sa Senate. At yung flight path niyan masasapol sa parts of NAIA. Pag take off ng mga aeroplano o landing. Bakit yung pinapayagan? Ba't yung binibigyan ng permit? Ikaw na mismo nagsabi ngayon na yung permit manggagaling sa inyo.
Sir, yung pong pag-issue ng animal event permit, yan po ay sa BAI. Ngayon po, yung mga pigeon race po, hindi po lahat ay kumukuha ng permit sa BAI. Yung sinasabi ko rin po,
So kung hindi sila kumukuha ng permit sa BAI, bakit nyo pinapayagan? Bakit nyo ikukula ang atensyon ng presidente ng asosasyon na sabihin nyo bawal yan, illegal yan? Then kung that illegal, then go to the LGU, go to the PNP for the enforcement of this memorandum circular ninyo.
Sir, yun pong pag-issue ng event and even yung transport permit, if they are going to other regions, ay dumadaan po sa BAI. Now, if the event is being conducted, halimbawa dito po sa Metro Manila, there are groups na they do their own activity without securing permits, either from BAI or even from the LGUs. I think yun po yung isang point na
Ganito na lang sir, paiksiin natin.
Sige.
Kaap versus Kaap. Kayong dalawa, Kaap and BAI, i-monitor nyo itong mga pigeon raising. I'm really concerned about this. Narinig ko na to many years ago pa, hindi pa ako, broadcaster pa lang ako. And I know this is dangerous. Kasi by the thousands, hundreds of thousands pa siguro yung mga pigeons at the same time na pinapakawalan. So, dapat kailangan nilang kumuha ng permit, di ba? Sa BAI in coordination with Kaap. So this time, wag niyo nang bigyan ng permit. Di ba? I-impose nyo na yung ban na bawal yan unless kukuha kayo ng permit sa amin. At wag nyo bibigyan ng permit. So bigyan nyo silang permit, wag dito sa lugar na kung saan may mga eroplano, may traffic ng mga airplanes. Doon sa mga bundok na malayo sa mga flight path ng mga eroplano. Nagets niyo ako? Nang sa gayon, malayo tayo sa disgrasya. Right?
Mr. Chair, if I may, tama naman po,